Hey guys, Kevin here, and I'm going to be showing you guys how I painted this Juice WRLD painting. You know, rest in peace to Juice WRLD. He was a great artist, but you know, I wanted to recreate his Legends Never Die cover album. So yeah, man, it took me a while, but I'm proud of how it came out. So let's get into it. As you can see here, I'm starting to block in all the big details, slowly forming in the background, the vest, you know, all the details, but slowly. And as you can see here, you know, I wasn't really happy with the proportions of the face and none of that, so I actually had to restart the face midway, paint completely over it, as you can see right there. And you know, I got it good the second time. I really was happy when it came out, and yeah. And now I'm starting to begin it on the dreads and on the facial details. After getting the actual face done, I wanted to get all the other details down pat and clean, crisp. You know, I had to do a lot of, very small line work on the dreads, a lot of crisp line work on the lips, get the shape right, the colors, the values. As you can see here, I'm working on the fade. On the bottom of the entire painting, there's like a pink fade that fades from the bottom to the top. In the black areas, it was a very clear pink. In the middle, it turned to a purple. And as you can see here, now I'm starting to work on the chain. As you can see, he had pearls and chain links. You can see all the small details. And what I wanted to do was really just, you know, make the details look crisp. Put in first the placement. You know, you have to really get the placement of each pearl to the next. But then later, add the individual details that really brings it together. It makes it look like one piece and not just, you know, a bunch of yellow blobs all over it. So I like to start first with color, then come in with the line work, and then later come in with the highlights and all the little details that really make it pop. You can see the shine lines as well. And now what I'm trying to do is block in the skull face that he has in there, but just blocking in sort of the rough idea. And now what I'm working on is the stitching, the line work, making it really crisp, because you know, in the pictures that in the very beginning, the time lapse, it just showed me roughly in the position. Now I really want to get it finished. You know, get the lines there, the stitching, the placement of surrounding things, the button, the shading as well, and also get the tones right, because this isn't just a clear black. There's a little bit of a purple tint to it. But yeah, and now I'm just finishing in the shading. You know, it was pretty satisfying too, just getting them down, getting all the lines, very small lines. And that's really the mentality, is to focus on the small lines and not the whole piece. You know, every stroke, every brush stroke you focus on. Make sure the positioning is right. You know, you're looking at the reference, trying to copy it the best you can. Also, you're not a printer, you know, so you have to really, you know, there's a little bit of a space for error in this. Now I'm just finishing these buttons, you know, getting those details done. I'm going to start finishing the 3 buttons, which were, those 3 were very difficult to figure out the size, the relative placement, things like that. And then I'm also going to be starting on that collar, which I did a couple times. The first time was when I was blocking in. The second time was when I was really finishing it, getting it down. And now what I'm going to start doing in a bit is that lettering. So he has like an MXI lettering. What I like to do is do a rectangle so that there's guidelines from the top and bottom. Make sure that it's, you know, it looks straight. Then come in with the actual lettering, remove the guidelines, then crisping out all the details of the lettering. Make sure that every letter is legible, it's clear, and also there's a little shading to it. There's even a little bit of a gray. It's not straight white. Things you have to pay attention to is also, you know, don't take everything at face value. Always try to get it right, just right. So I'm just finishing up that, finishing details, finishing the studs on the upper left part of the vest. start doing is on the other side of the vest. You know, same thing, shading, stitching, all the smaller details, focusing on relative placement of other elements next to each other, make sure that they're good. And now this is something that I was very intimidated by, was the grass behind it. I wasn't sure if I was gonna get the right tones, the right colors, and really, you know, everything has sort of a pink tint to it, so it's very difficult to really portray that in the drawing. So I think obviously it's not going to be a bright green color, it's more of a, you know, more of a dull green, and it really lends well to how it turned out, you know. So I started with the overall green tint, then I went in with the flower placements and the butterfly placements that are all throughout the entire piece, and also, you know, added more shading. And at the very end is when I started adding every individual grass. You know, some was just a lighter shade of the green, others were plain white, others were black, others were navy. And also you have to pay attention that sort of at the outer edge there's a little bit of purple, so it's turning some of the grass blades into purple, you know, things like that. And then really just defining every flower. They have, you know, shades of orange, yellow, red. And now I'm starting to block in, you know, fade in the mountain a little bit nicer. And now going to the left arm, the shirt details, which are very intricate. I'm really happy that I was able to record this entire part of the right arm. As you can see here, I'm just really looking at the reference. I mean, you can't see the reference, but I'm looking at the reference and then trying to match it exactly, every motion. And the good thing is that it's paint, so if you're trying to do something similar to this, don't be stressed out that every single thing has to be perfect, because it doesn't. It's paint. You can cover it up, you know, if you mess up, you can clean it up. Now what I'm starting to do is work on the right side of the flowers, and this was a bit more difficult because they're not very defined. It's groupings in a very particular shape, so it's very difficult to, I mean, it's very easy to get into, you know, like confused, like not seeing the full picture. Like you see just a bunch of blobs of colors, and you have to really just, you know, copy the whole shape and come back and refine it, add more details to it, add highlights and shadows. And you know, you make a big blob, then you can like add the green patches so you see like it's a flower bed. It's not just, you know, like a blob of orange in a grass field. It's really what you need to focus on, is really just getting the color in the right position, the right place, and then coming back, refining it, refining the position, refining everything. Now I'm starting to get into the sky a little bit. And the sky I actually did in oil paints, so the majority of the painting is acrylics. I like using acrylics for these smaller details. It's easy because for me, I like, you know, painting, it's dry, you can go over it, you know, it's easier for me. For the sky though, I like, you know, smoother blends, more vibrant colors. Oil paints serve that purpose very well, so it was very, you know, very necessary to use oil paints. Even though the top right corner, when you see those clouds, it was very difficult to get them right. It would just blend too much, and honestly I really need to work on my skills with that. That's just something I have to work on. And now I'm getting into the shirt details, and that was something that I was pretty excited to get into. You know, that clean line work of the skull, the clean line work of the woman, and he has like a top hat, a cigarette. It was all, I loved it. It was all very, very, very nice. And the first time I went over it, I didn't really record when I was doing it the very first time. I did covering it up with pink again because I was just not happy with the outcome. But this time I was very much more paying attention to every individual detail, the lines, you know. Now what I'm doing is getting in the birds. They have like birds flying in the background. There was like stars and meteorites. Just, you know, and it helps to really give the atmosphere, because right now it doesn't really look like a sky, but with all the white lines and the white dots, you know, the stars, it really makes it come together. And then finishing off the parental advisory, what I like to do is, you know, again, like I've said before, you block it in, you crispen it up, you clean it up, you know, go with one color, you go back with the other one. It's a little bit of a back and forth action, which really ends in the best result. And at the very end of this painting, I came back with a L-shaped ruler and really made that sure that was square. And now I'm finishing up these butterflies, getting them, you know, nice and tidy. All the details coming in close. Colors, I mixed up the yellow and white to really get that punchy yellow look that the painting has. And yeah, it was, I really actually enjoyed doing the butterflies. I like the little small details in it. As you can see here, I'm wrapping up the top of the shirt details. So just went with the darker purple and the lighter one, and it's very organic shapes that I had to get done. And now what I did here was fill it on pink, did the fade out. It was a bit difficult to figure out, but I got it done. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this time lapse through the entire painting, the walkthrough. It was a very fun experience for me. It took me 6 months, but that was because I was procrastinating and I couldn't really figure out sometime how would the next move be, what would the next move be, you know. But overall, I'm very happy with the outcome, and I hope you guys enjoy. And I'll have other videos of other paintings that I have, you know, in the works right now. But yeah.